Justice Democrats rolled out a new initiative, and it's causing a stir in mainstream media, and I'm rather amused by all this. I think it's hilarious. So this is from Politico. They say Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Justice Democrats want her victory over Representative Joe Crowley to be the beginning of a movement rather than just a one-off upset. And then underneath it says Ocasio-Cortez backs campaign to primary fellow Democrats. Now, I found this funny for a number of reasons. First of all, they're just learning now. They're like, oh, well, this appears to be a movement. We launched the thing after the 2016 election. Justice Democrats has existed since just after the 2016 election. We launched it as a movement then. It's been a movement since then. You guys know this. We know this. Anybody who's really in tune with what's happening in politics knows this. I mean, it's so funny because it's almost like on YouTube, the crazy, insane far-right wingers, aside, we're just so far ahead of what mainstream establishment political culture realizes. Like, we are consistently 1 to 2 years ahead of them. So they're just realizing now, oh, wow. Well, it appears like Medicare for All is popular and people are pushing for it. Yeah, we've been saying that for a long time. We've been pushing that for a long time. They're just so far behind because they're so out of touch because they're inside that elitist bubble, man. And it's so frustrating, but it's also hilarious. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Justice Democrats want her victory to be the beginning of a movement rather than a one-off upset. As if when we launched Justice Democrats, we were like, let's get one win and then call it a day and never do anything ever again. We fucking ran a tremendous number of candidates. Are you kidding me? They're so out of touch, man. It's unbelievable. Okay, but then the other thing is, they are, and if you read the article, you see it crystal clear. I've seen other examples of this very well. People are legitimately taken aback and offended by the idea that Ocasio-Cortez is okay with campaigning, with primarying fellow Democrats. They think that's like, oh my God, how impolite and how uncivil and how, how wild. Like, you just got in the club and now you're saying you're in favor of shaking up the club? Huh. I've never seen anything like this. Yeah, but this is what happens when you have people who actually believe in what they're talking about. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and all the Justice Democrats, they believe in the issues that they're pushing. They believe in Medicare for All and free college and a living wage and ending the wars and ending the drug war and a Green New Deal. When you believe in that, the idea of a primary would never bother you because you look at that and you go, yeah, come on, I'm going to beat all you because I'm pushing for ideas that are popular. I'm going to effectively and accurately represent the will of the people. Yeah, come at me. I don't give a shit. Ro Khanna, who's been in Congress, has been saying this. And by the way, he was the only one that said this before Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But he was like, yeah, I don't care. You primary me. I don't care. What do I care? I have a philosophy. I have an ideology. I'm representing my voters. So you know what's going to happen? I'm going to win that primary. And I'm not, the idea that I'm offended by that, oh, you guys actually believe in democracy? Unbelievable. I mean, look at this. Obviously, I'm entitled to this seat forever now. The point is, what the establishment believes is actually way more radical and way more extreme than what Ocasio-Cortez and Ro Khanna believe in. What Ocasio-Cortez and Ro Khanna believe in is called common sense among regular people. Like, hey, should we maybe primary the party to make it better and to get politicians that more accurately represent the will of the people? To everybody who's not in that DC elitist bubble, we're like, yeah, no. And to be fair, Wall Street too, they don't want anybody changing because they got their puppets in there and they want to keep them there. But to regular people, we're like, yeah, of course, yeah, primary them, get a better party, and then let's move forward and let's get things implemented that actually help the people. But when you don't believe anything, that's when you get offended. What do you mean? I'm entitled to this seat. This is my seat. You're going to look at your colleagues and go, hey, maybe I'll support a primary against you. Oh my goodness. Well, that's so rude. But it ain't personal. None of this is personal. It's all about the policy. And they don't get it. So they're struggling to grasp this new brand, this new breed of uncorrupted politician. And that's what it is. Ocasio-Cortez didn't take any corporate PAC money. She raised her money from small dollar donations. And she was outraised 10-1 and she still won. So they don't know, they can't wrap their mind around this new kind of politician that does what a politician is supposed to do. That's a public servant. They're so taken aback by that and amazed by that and weirded out by that they write these insanely out-of-touch articles like, oh my God, it turns out this is a movement. We've been telling you that for 2 freaking years, you idiots. Just now, they're like, by the way, I find it hilarious and fascinating at the same time. You go and check how many profiles have been done in the New York Times, the Washington Post, Politico, all these different outlets. Profile of a Trump voter from rural America. They'll do that. They'll do the profiles. Literally, I've seen profiles on Richard Spencer, a guy who is a white nationalist. I've seen countless profiles on him. Count the number of profiles they've done on these kinds of characters and the number of profiles they've done on me. At the age of 29, and this isn't to toot my own horn because I support these kind of profiles, not just of Justice Democrats, but also of DSA, also of Our Revolution, also PCCC, also all these people that are fighting to actually make the Democratic Party represent the people. How many times have I've been approached by mainstream media? Like, oh, hey, we want to do a profile on you because, wow, you co-founded a group at the age of 29 that ended up getting 7 people in Congress. You didn't exist over 2 years ago. Now you got 7 people in Congress. Now you guys are impacting the party in a massive way where there were 4 people who didn't take corporate PAC money. Now there's over 40. There were like 20 or however many Congress people who supported Medicare for all. Now there's well over 100. Wow, you guys are how did you succeed so much? I mean, the progressives in these races going up against incumbents 41% of the time we won our primaries with less money almost every time. How'd you guys do it? How many times have I been profiled on this? None. Never. Nobody ever reached out. Nobody ever cared. Why? Because they're, like I told you, they're out of touch, they're elitist, and they don't have their finger on the pulse of what's actually happening. So that's why they're like, now, after the midterms, they're like, whoa, it turns out there's a movement that Ocasio-Cortez is part of. No shit, there's a movement she's a part of. Oh my goodness. She doesn't think every Democrat is entitled to the seat that they're in from now until the end of time. Wow. It's like they believe it's an oligarchy and they expect you to believe it too and accept it. It's like, well, we have an oligarchy, just accept it. No, we're not going to accept it. We're going to fight back. And the fact that you're amazed by that says a hell of a lot more about you than it does about us.